Welcome back to day 18 of reading the entire Bible this year. This is the recap of 4 readings on YouTube. And in this video, we'll go over Luke chapters 21 and 22. In chapter 21, Jesus watched the rich putting gifts into the treasury, and then he saw a poor widow put in 2 copper coins. And he said, "Truly I tell you, this poor widow has put in more than all of them, for they all contributed out of their abundance, but she out of her poverty put in all the living that she had." Jesus then foretold the destruction of the temple, which actually happened in 70 AD, which was 30 to 40 years after his resurrection. He then talked about the signs of end times. Nation will rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and in various places famines and pestilences, and there will be terrors and great signs from heaven. But before all this, they will lay their hands on you and persecute you, delivering you up to the synagogues and prisons. But he said, in these times, don't worry about what to say, for I will give you a mouth and wisdom, which none of your adversaries will be able to withstand or contradict. But when you see Jerusalem surrounded by armies, then know that its desolation has come near, for these are days of vengeance to fulfill all that is written. They will fall by the edge of the sword and be led captive among all nations, and Jerusalem will be trodden down by the Gentiles until the times of the Gentiles are fulfilled. This is also interesting because the Romans were the Gentiles who destroyed the temple in 70 AD, and we're actually in the times of the Gentiles, or the New Testament, where the word is spread throughout the whole world. He then talks about the coming of the Son of Man. They will see the Son of Man coming in a cloud with power and great glory. He then told us to stay ready for this, but watch at all times, praying that you may have strength to escape all these things that will take place, and to stand before the Son of Man. In chapter 22, the chief priests and scribes were plotting on how to put Jesus to death. Then Satan entered Judas Iscariot, and this led him to conspire with them to betray Jesus. And the time came near for Passover, so Jesus told his disciples to go into the town and find a man with a jar of water, and this man will lead them to where they will have their Passover feast. They then had their Passover feast. Jesus then took bread, gave thanks, and passed it amongst the disciples, saying, "This is my body, which is given for you. Do this in remembrance of me." And likewise the chalice after supper, saying, "This chalice which is poured out for you is the new covenant in my blood. But behold, the hand of him who betrays me is on the table. For the Son of Man goes as it has been determined, but woe to that man by whom he is betrayed." Jesus then predicts Peter's denial. "I tell you, Peter, the cock will not crow this day until you 3 times deny that you know me." Jesus then went with the disciples to the Mount of Olives to pray, telling them to pray to not fall into temptation. Then he knelt down and prayed, "Father, if you are willing, remove this chalice from me. Nevertheless, not my will, but yours be done." And there appeared to him an angel from heaven, strengthening him. Then when he rose from prayer, he went back to find his disciples asleep, and he said to them, "Why do you sleep? Rise and pray that you may not enter into temptation." But while he was talking, Judas came to him with a crowd. Then one who was with Jesus grabbed a sword and struck the slave of the high priest in the ear. Jesus said, "No more of this." He healed the man's ear and then said, "Have you come out against as a robber with swords and clubs? When I was with you day after day in the temple, you did not lay hands on me, but this is your hour and the power of darkness." Jesus was then seized, and Peter followed as they brought him to the high priest's house. Then Peter denied Jesus 3 times. And immediately, while he was still speaking, the cock crowed. And the Lord turned and looked at Peter, and he went out and wept bitterly. They then mocked and beat Jesus, and the chief priests say, "If you are the Christ, tell us." But he said to them, "If I tell you, you will not believe. But from now on, the Son of Man shall be seated at the right hand of the power of God." And they say, "What further testimony do we need? We have heard it ourselves from his own lips." And that concludes the reading for today. God bless you. I'll see you all tomorrow.